Peace. Minstrel. Peace. L. Roger. Peace. Peace. Hit that like button. Hit that like button. We're gonna talk about the crayon box. The crayon box thing for people is a fallacy. It's false. Yeah, it's false. Ain't no such as color people. Yeah, no such thing as color people. You know what I mean? There's no such thing as a black person. Same way, it's not no such thing as a white person. These are legal destinations. These are stuff to categorize people inside of a fake corporate structured reality that's not real. And really they used this way of categorizing people to denationalize and take people's property, all kinds of stuff. Even be able to have authority over their corporate identity. This is why they convince people to, say that they're black, or even to say that they're white. It's just that the white thing is just as fake as the black thing. It's just that, you get more. It's better to be white legally, politically, to be white than it is to be black legally or politically. You know what I'm saying? But it's just basic common. It is common sense, but we taught to not have common sense. You know what I mean? It's like I don't know. I'm trying to think. Do I got anything that's black? Okay. This thing here is black, right? So why would I call myself black? Why would I call myself the color of this bag? And clearly I'm not black. Clearly I'm like brown, light brown, whatever. I'm not black though. The same way, this case here is white. I've never seen a white person a day in my life. I've never seen a flesh and blood human, a flesh and blood human. The color of this case. So it's common sense. Ain't no such thing as white people. The same way, ain't no such thing as black people. Now, if you get into law, stuff like that, you know what I mean? Well, you get into law, the legal meaning. Yeah, you do have white and black people. And black people don't have no rights, so why would I want to be black? Why would I want to be a black person? You know what I mean? But it's all. This is one of the big aspects that people gotta like when you searching for equality. The equality thing is even that is stuff behind that. You gotta, if you know who you are and you know what you are, according to if you're functioning inside of the corporate, the fake corporate thing, you should know what black means. You should know what white means. So And if you know what black means, then you should know why black people get killed in the streets. You should know why police can kill black people and not get in trouble for it. You know what I mean? You would know, because you would know that being black is a legal thing. It's a political thing. You know, according to law, you know, black people are not flesh and blood. They are considered chattel, you know, chattel property. So who would want to be that? All of the natural flesh and blood people are connected to a nation. And you don't go in the 7-Eleven, the Chinese store, going to a Vietnamese soup spot. All of these people that's in there, they functioning under you know, they have a nationality. And that's, you know, this is Morris talk, but it's real. It's really real. You know what I'm saying? And people need to get into that. But before you even get into that, man, a lot of people so dizzy in the mind, so messed up in the mind. They gotta stop smoking weed or stop drinking, stop getting high off other kind of drugs, you know, long enough for them to be they think, you know, about memorizing or knowing some aspects of law that pertains to their life. So really, you know, that's why I advise, just like when I'm coaching people in the boxing gym, you got to start at the beginning. You got to start knowing that when you start trying to train somebody that don't know nothing, you got to treat them like they don't know nothing, and then build, because they're not going to understand a lot. If you give them some type of advanced lesson, all that stuff going to go in one ear and right out the other. The same way with this stuff. But ain't no such thing as no black people and no white people. There's no such thing as that. I'm going to keep saying that. You know what I mean? Everybody, no matter what color they, you know, skin is connected to a nation. You know what I mean? And whether they're the original people or they some people that came into the land after the fact, or, well, they got moved there or whatever. People, you know what I mean? Everybody is connected to a nation. Point blank period. But, you know, that's, you know, kind of like what a lot of people should deal with. You know what I mean? Even with issues, if you look at the issues of like certain Native American groups, even some of these Native American groups are not Aboriginal, so they fall under to the corporate structure of the United States of America. So this is why certain things could be done to them, but the average person who don't know nothing about nothing don't know that this is why these people is getting taken advantage of. But they done signed up and they under the corporate thing, so they're not original owners of their land. They just claim the status of being an Indian or being a Native American. You know, so that's that. Even where if you go the status of people in other lands. You know what I mean? You know, like if you look at certain conflicts, whether it be like, let's say Ukraine, Russia, the Palestinian conflict, you know, a lot of people don't even know, according to certain things, Ukraine is Russia. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Ukraine is Russia, right? Okay. But that's another perspective. But that's something to think about before you say, oh, well, these people were wrong. This, that, and the third. Or maybe sometime, you know, you may realize that you may not even be, you might not never even seen a real Palestinian person. You know what I mean? On TV. You know what I mean? But that's something as you dig deeper into real reality. You're gonna find out a lot of stuff that's gonna be dislikable and you're gonna find a lot of stuff that's alien to what you think you already know. Peace, peace, peace. What's happening? What's happening? What's happening? Hey, hit that like button for me, y'all. Hit that like button for me. If you come in and you go out, hit that like button one time. You know what I mean? For the real people. You know what I mean? For the real people. Cause I'm a real one. But yeah, it's all about learning. Each day, you know, you try to learn something new, and hopefully you can ingest the information and then digest it. You know what I mean? And you can figure it out. You know what I mean? And I don't know. I do know, but people. Divine Win, peace, peace, peace. Shantai Rogers, peace. Yeah, but it take time. It definitely take time. DD, peace. Mom C, peace. All these people. And you ain't hitting that like button. DD, hit that like button, DD. Whoever you are. Divine Win, hit that like button. But yeah. You know, it takes time. It just takes time to figure this stuff out. You know what I mean? You can't, what's the word? You ain't gonna do it in one day. You ain't gonna do it in one day. Same way you don't know how to play basketball, box, play football, tennis, unless, you know, you swimming, so you don't learn that stuff in one day. You gotta give yourself time. Plus, a lot of the stuff that we, hit that like button. A lot of stuff that, most of the stuff that we learn is false. So you gotta unlearn, you know. You gotta unlearn. You know what I'm saying? I remember one time I got into a little debate with one of the little young guys that I used to train in the gym. And well, no, he's a grown man, but he's but you know, I know him from since he was a kid. He was a young kid. He's still a kid to me. He's my kid's age, but you know, he done got into like some deeper studies and learning and stuff like that. He been through the Islamic line and all that different stuff. But he was overly on the race stuff though, right? Which is cool because sometimes you gotta go through that to get to the other side. But he kept, you know, saying all this different African stuff and Egyptian stuff and all this different stuff, man. And I'm telling him like, okay, yeah, you know, yeah, I understand, yeah. And he busy telling me about all the Egypt stuff, and I'm like, yeah, I feel you, I get it, I got you, I get it. But he's all dialed into the Egypt thing from the aspect of Africa, and getting mad at me because I'm talking like I don't see what he's talking about. But I'm way past that. I'm on like the Egypt, the civilizations that educated Egypt come from over here, come from America, right? Which is a big long story. So sometimes, but it just take time. So I just let them, just talk and all that, like just because, you know what I mean. But it go deeper. Once you think you get into this, like, whoa, wow, this been around this amount of time, this and the third, you know, just like even like people who Christian and they, you know, with the Trinity and you know, with the Father, the Son, the Holy Ghost, and that's the Trinity, right? But then you get into some higher learning and you understand that comes from something so-called Egyptian, you know, with the Isis and Osiris and the Horus thing, right? You know, you have multiple different cultures that come in with the same type stuff, right? But you won't know that unless you keep digging further and further and further. And I think I posted a video of it. I was talking about, you know, how people getting into religion. It's the same thing with these other schools of thought. You know, you get into like the so-called the Egyptology and all that stuff. You get stuck on that, and then you won't even be realizing that it's stuff to learn about that's way past that. than that the mainstream Egypt stuff. The History Channel type stuff, like, and all that. Even if you start talking from the so-called black aspect, like, oh yeah, Egyptians is black and all this different stuff, man. You got stuff out here that all that stuff all the stuff is connected. You know what I mean? Even going to India, and you got Egypt stuff in India. You got India stuff in America. You got America is connected to all these different lands and all this different stuff. So if you're just looking over at one place, or you just weren't thinking just one place, is just, you know what I mean? All this different stuff. Ireland being a place that's very important in the whole world scope of things, especially in the old world. You don't even know. Like, they think you say something about Ireland or Irish, and they be like, man, what you talking about Irish and Ireland and all that? You don't even know that this is on some high stuff that people meant that, but you gotta study, or you won't know what's going on. You know what I mean? You just really won't know what's going on. But but to calm everything down, and and maybe like try to escape out of the escape from the matrix, the matrix way of thinking, matrix mindset. You're gonna have to think your way. You're gonna have to think your way out of this. Because I'm gonna tell you, I'm gonna give you, like, either, I don't know, depending on your age, I'm gonna give you some big bro advice, or I'm gonna give you some daddy advice, or whatever. Yeah, check it out. When you see stuff, even on this TikTok, even on, definitely, television, TikTok, Facebook, whatever, social media, don't believe everything you hear. Step outside of that. You know what I mean? deal with what you see. You know what I mean? What you see is reality. Like, do you believe in what your eyes see? You know what I mean? Go outside. Look up at the moon. Do the moon look like it's right there? Or do it look like it's 200,000 miles away? Right? You know what I'm saying? Like, so what do your common sense tell you? Do your common sense tell you that the moon right there? Or do it tell you that it's 200-something thousand miles away? All this different stuff. You train not to have no common sense. Same thing with the sun. Do the sun look like it's, you know what I mean? Do you think that this Earth is orbiting around a sun? And at the same time it's orbiting around the sun, it's spinning at 1,000 miles an hour, though nothing is moving on the surface of the Earth. Like, come on, man, common sense. It can't happen. That's not real. But you gotta figure that stuff out on your own. Why they want me to think that I'm stuck to a rock? You know what I mean? Why they want me to think that I'm spinning on the ball? Why they want me to think that I'm white? Why they want me to think that I'm black? You know what I mean? Why? You know what I mean? Some strong whys. You know what I mean? Some real strong whys are like, that we should be trying to reconcile in our minds. You know what I mean? Reconcile all these issues. Why do is Protestants killing and fighting Catholics? Why is Sunnis killing and fighting Shiites? They read the same book, right? They supposed to believe in the same God and follow the same prophet and all that. Why they killing each other? Why they can't get along? Think about that in your own mind. Think about it. If you don't think about it, then you just being led by somebody you think has authority, and they just telling you what to do. Like, we don't like them. Well, why we don't like them? We don't like them because they dress funny, or they don't dress like us, or all that kind of, man. And you be like, man, I don't care how they dress. They cool, you know what I mean? Them people, they give charity. They look out for people. They do this. They speak well and whatever. I ain't gonna dislike them. What, I should dislike them just because they dress a little different, or they have a slightly different belief? Come on, man. You know what I'm saying? This is the stuff that people got to start thinking about. You know what I mean? People got to start thinking about. You know what I mean? That's why I'm glad I had a chance to go a few places in my life and experience, you know what I mean, some different, being around different people and just seeing them living and being in their environments and just realizing that uh, they based, but even though they're different, it's still the same. I used to, if you look at, if you go into fake race shit, like if you look at white people, like like they weird or something wrong with them, whatever. Or you look at black people like they weird or something wrong with them. Break it all the way down, man. You know what I'm saying? Like one thing, you know what I used to do? I used to be like, man, that dude, he all right. You know what I mean? That dude, he love his mom like I love my mom. He love his father like I love my father. That dude, he got a wife. He love his wife. He love his kids. The same way I love my wife and my kids. So as a basis, you know what I mean, if you start perceiving people as what they really are, they just like you, want the same things and more than likely dislike, some of the same things, then, you'll start realizing that it ain't no real reason to even have no hatred. You just realize that. You know what I mean? Hit that like button. If you come in and out, hit that like button for me. Hit that like button for the real people. For the real people. I'm a real one. You know what I'm saying? But I'm being honest too. That's how I reconcile certain things. Even when I went overseas for a religious trip, and I always had like a certain level of dislike and disdain for police, right? But when I went overseas, and I just started. I looked. I don't know. I was just enlightened on certain things, like because I saw the police. The police was, when everybody would stop what they was doing and go into the building to pray. The police in that country was doing the same thing. And then I was looking at them like, wow, like, and then I just started perceiving a higher level of like society, like how society should be, whereas I'm not saying it's all it ain't all perfect there, but what I'm saying is this is what inspired me to have a little bit more love and respect for police, especially because the police have a high like, I'm trying to think. The job, it's like an exalted position. It's a position where we need the police. And for anybody who got parents, like a mother, whether even your father, if your father's old or whatever, like, or whatever, your grandparents and all that stuff. We got people walking around in the streets that's good people, and they need protection. They need for the presence, for the police presence to be available and to be around, so they can feel safe and so they can be safe. And you do have some police officers. Hit that like button for me, y'all. Hit that like button for a real one. And just saying, on a real basic level, that's how I began to respect the police and look at them in a different way. I started looking at them as if, like they are needed, because police keep order. And these police, now in the big picture of things, these police got a real big responsibility on their back because of what they sign up for. It can go one way or the other. I ain't just talking about physical danger. I'm talking about the spiritual ramifications of doing the wrong things out here dealing with people. You know what I mean? Yeah, I understand. I definitely understand and believe in. Well, no, I know God. I know Allah. You know what I mean? So yeah, I definitely. But I'm gonna speak regular. Yeah. I understand and I believe in these things, but at the same time, now that I know about, let's say, karma, karma go both ways, and has a good aspect and a bad aspect, and all of us are either are stockpiling and compiling karma, one way or the other. whether the karma is for you or against you, you're you're putting something away for yourself for either now or after death or whatever the case may be. So, person is a police officer. He could think he's being slick or whatever, but guess what? He gonna have to deal with all the ins and outs. Hit that like button for me. He gonna have to deal with all the ins and outs of what he doing or what he not doing. You know what I'm saying? And if he wronging people out here, that wrong gonna come back to him. No matter and don't. Yeah, hey, it's coming back. Trust and believe. Peace. What's good? You know? Yeah. So, yeah, understanding. It's okay. It's okay to know about karma and to learn about that, even though you might be religious. You know what I mean? Peace be unto you, Miss Wendy Hall. How you doing? Hit that like button for me, Miss Wendy. And yeah, it's okay to go into higher learning. That's good to hear. It's good to hear. I'm good too. You know what I mean? But where you from, Miss Wendy? I'm in Philly. I see I got two viewers. Well, I'm in Philly. This live is in Philly. Texas? Okay. The Lone Star State, right? Right, the Lone Star State. I know. Yeah. That's funny. My great grandfather is from Texas. His name was Rawson Ross. Yeah, Ross. Yeah, one of my great grandfather from Texas. His name was Rawson Ross. Yeah, I did my genealogy. Another thing, people need to do their genealogy. Don't get faked out and think that you can't find all of it. It's a lot of it's so much different information and records that you can find online. You ain't got Rawson, like raw, Rawson, Rawson. But this is a throwback individual, so back then names was what I mean. But yeah, because Ross is one of my names, one of my family names. You can do your genealogy. Don't believe in like the slave stuff and all that. That stuff is fake, for real. You got I didn't got all the way back. San Francisco, old world, yeah. People need to do their genealogy. You know what I mean? You'll find out that it's a lot of information that you can find because everything, birth, not certificates, but birth announcements, death certificates, marriage announcements, or even marriage licenses with all that. You know what I'm saying? It's you really ship manifestos of people traveling from here to there. You name it. There's a lot you can find. You can find out because I done got back to the 1500s on one of my lines. Just finding names and where they came from and all different stuff. So even me, as like I tell. Yeah, it is real powerful to know your names, right? All of the names that you have connected to yourself, and that's who you are. And that's another big thing about having knowledge of self. Like I'm a 110% American, but I know through doing my first from me knowing what I already knew, but also once I did that, I realized that I was a mixture. Because, a lot of people the original people that came, let's say the people that so-called came from Europe, was melanated people. You know what I'm saying? Was melanated people, point blank, period. So, I got a lot of German ancestry. I got a lot of, especially on my father's side, but you'll always see you'll see that the grandfather may have came from Europa, came here and he married an American woman, and it might not be as much. You might just get a name on the woman, on the American, on your grandmother, and then it might be a little bit more information on the melanated word UP, melanated word up. Right, that's right. So a lot of people get mad at me. They go back there and see, oh, I got German grandmama and grandpapa. I got a French, a Francie. No, that don't mean that. I don't mean that these people. Actually, if you in the 1700s and you talking about Germans, you talking about melanated, you talking about dark skinned people. The more you go into learning about true history, the more you're gonna learn that a lot of the people that you perceive now, and they changed history. The only thing they did it with Hollywood and the TV. Has destiny, melanated. Has destiny when meeting others every day. You know what I mean? But you'll find that, mostly, and this is not even a false statement, most of what you perceive as so-called groups of people, white people, basically, what we call it like so-called white people, a lot of that most of them got into these lands in the 1800s. So when they start talking about colonization and all of them, this land was colonized by melanated Europeans. You know what I'm saying? This is the truth. This ain't false. This is the truth. It was colonized by melanated Europeans, and these melanated Europeans is our forefathers too, and they mixed together. They came and mixed with original Americans, but everybody looked the same. Europeans and Americans looked the same. But when they reconstructed history and rewrote the books and reclassified the people, that's all I was already talking about, that black and white thing. It denationalized everybody who signed up for it. People forgot who they were. It don't take long. It may take one generation. It only took one generation for so-called black people to forget that their grandmom, their great grandmom, and their great grandparents did not call themselves black. One generation. Anybody who got a color, being colored is better, but they teach you being colored legally probably better than being called black. Come on. There's no such thing. You can't even, at least a person of color sound more realer than somebody black. You never seen a black skin or a white skin person. But I'm just saying, it only take one generation for people to forget. You know what I mean? To forget who they are. And old people die off. You know what I'm saying? But, the truth will always defend itself. The truth will always come back around. That's just the bottom line. Like, so no matter how much you try to hold it back, the truth is going to manifest. You get to the point where it's though, like, you see the young people, and the young people, right? Not necessarily me, because I'm in between young and old, right? But the young people is starting to know. They like the young people is starting to get into higher science, higher things. You know what I mean? They are. It ain't everything you see. So that's what I'm saying. Don't get discouraged by everything you see on the internet or you see on TV. All the youth ain't out here wilding and acting crazy. You got kids out here reading books and trying to be positive and doing different stuff. That's why you see the influx. Well, not the influx, but you see the advent. Like, you see there was a time back in the day when, let's say, every time when people start getting conscious, you'll see certain things. Like you at one time back in the day, people was getting conscious, and all of a sudden, people would start rocking afro. They got the afro, and everybody this and the third. And they come in with the conflict. Okay, Vietnam War, whatever, all different kind of that conflict. Then you got a drug epidemic. You know what was going on back at that time. You know, like heroin and all that stuff. You know, and you know what that does? That brings the people that's on a high, that brings them back, brings them down. They worrying about like I'm worrying about I gotta send my son's getting drafted, going to Vietnam. Now people getting sad, families is broken up, people dying, drugs is tearing up the communities. You know what I mean? And it ain't no white and black thing. It's all about design. The same thing that we witnessed when stuff started coming back in the 80s, in the late 80s. The same thing. Rap music was like party type stuff, but then you had a conscious. I remember for like a long time, you had the conscious hip hop, conscious rap. People was coming back to Afro hair and getting and growing locks and all the different stuff. And you know what? Boom! That's when the crack. Then the frequency of the gangster music and things of that nature. It started coming in and all that stuff. It brings the people vibration back down when they start getting stressing too much and getting into overly drugs and all that kind of stuff, partying and entertainment being more important than cultivating yourself on some good things, right? Even though it's not wrong with entertainment, but I'm just saying too much of anything. Too much entertainment, too much food, too much laughter, too much sex. All of these things that are all good. It's good to laugh. It's good to have sex. It's good to eat good food and stuff like that. But if you're doing too much of it, it can affect you. Higher knowledge. Bowling. Yeah, bowling is good. Yeah. But yes, it is. Hey, hit that like button. If you come in and out, hit that like button for me, y'all. Hit that like button. I like gifts too. I appreciate it. Hit that like button. Click that like button 1,000,000 times. But yeah, this is one of the ways that they always bring the people. They always bring the people back down to a low state after getting on the high state. You know what I mean? That's what I'm saying. I'm advise all people, not just dark people. No, I'm telling you, like, don't feed into stuff that it's not as bad. It's not as bad as you think. It's moving again, but now we see us trying. You can actually see black changing. Yeah, I mean, yeah, people is changing. But it's no buts, but it's bowling knowledge. Yeah. Oh, building. You said bowling. Oh, yeah. Yeah. No, that's right. But it ain't no but. I hate that. I need to stop saying that. I hate saying that, the but word. But, you just got really keep your mind focused on the right things. Yeah, keep your mind focused. Yeah, it is moving. Yep, it's definitely moving. You know what I mean? And that's the strongest thing, keeping your mind focused on the right things. And thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah. But that's really basically what I try to advise myself to do, and anybody who want to listen. Every day you got to try to maintain your energy and try to maintain your energy. You got to protect it too. Your energy is basically everything you got. You have to protect it. You have to maintain it. You have to be around like other positive individuals. If you're gonna have to be around people, you better try to be around some people that's on the high vibe. And even certain people, even who you watch on here, even who you watch on TikTok, you make sure it's like people That's if you want a high vibe. I mean, for real, what you vibe off for real is the stuff that's gonna come through your line anyway. You know, all my stuff, everything mostly come through my vibe is like people talking about what I'm just talking about right now, mud flutters, more science, Aboriginal stuff. Got some tarot readers in there. Yeah, so you got a little bit of that kind of stuff, you know what I mean? But and I ain't gonna lie about boxing, cause like boxing, that's my thing. I'm a boxing coach. Well, TikTok, I don't know. There's a few people I watch on TikTok, but if I was going to advise anybody to, it's two different channels I follow on YouTube that I'm subscribed to on YouTube that I watch a lot. It's this one channel called 432 The Drop. It's also another brother, a Moorish brother. His name is Asir the Duke of Tears. I watch his stuff. Really, Asir, I ain't gonna lie, them's the two channels that I most watched on my way up was 432 The Drop and Asir the Duke of Tears. And I got a lot of historical information, a lot of good information. But it's maybe if you're interested in history like I am, it's another brother. His name is Karamayo. You know, on YouTube, it's Karamayo Ahau, like Ahau, Karamayo Ahau. Then these brothers is dealing with real history, historical, true stuff, and they coming from primary source books and stuff like that. So this is why I know, like, what I know, it is what it is. You know, I ain't gotta, you know, I ain't gotta sit up here and think and doubt what I already know. I've been, you know, studying for my own self for probably 8 years, maybe 8 years now. You know what I mean? Just getting into it and all this different stuff. You know, just for my own personal self. You know what I mean? Oh yeah, you just got on TikTok? Yeah, I haven't been on TikTok. Well, I've been on TikTok maybe a year. Yeah, maybe a year. And shoot, I remember, but I really just started talking about stuff. You know what I mean? I just started talking about stuff because even one of my friend of mine, he said he thought this was something new, like I was just trending, because you know all the Moorish Aboriginal stuff and spiritual stuff and all that stuff. That stuff is kind of trending now. It's trending. You know, a lot of people. Yeah, you trying to avoid most things. Yeah, well, yeah. You got to avoid the stuff that ain't good for you. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? But what they call that, discernment and stuff like that. Yeah, you gotta, you know, use your intuition and have discernment. But because some stuff, I can remember myself. I can remember myself personally avoiding stuff. I was avoiding stuff because I was still on the program, and then I was like in fear of hearing something that would upset me. But you know, time went on, and I'm a truth seeker. I'm not a I'm a truth seeker. So and plus I always was like a kind of person. Even when I was young, I was kind of kid. I was going against, you know, I was rebellious, but I was rebellious in negative ways and positive ways. You know, this is how I ultimately became a Muslim, because it's just like, man, I can't go with the other stuff. Like the other stuff is for sure, it wasn't right to me. You know what I mean? So I was already set up to become that, but well, Aboriginal history is the history of all the lands. All the lands, you know, have Aboriginal people that have always been on the land. You know what I'm saying? But if you really wanted to get truthful about, you know how they teach us that the further back you go in time that man becomes more primitive. That's another lie. Because the further you go back in history, the more advanced man becomes. That's why you see they can't figure out how, like, these pyramid structures and these old world buildings, they can't figure out how these people built it. Like I live in Philadelphia, right, Pennsylvania, and I always think about the art museum, right? The art museum the art museum is connected to, like, right there where the river is at, and it has like a waterworks system that's it's all connected, right? But for, let's say, the waterworks, right? And but when you think about when they say it was built, they might say, oh, the art museum was built in, I'm just using a number, in 1899 or 1900, right? And you'd be like, them people built this thing right here in 1899, and they didn't have no power tools, they didn't have no big machinery, like any of this different stuff. The same way they can't figure out how them pyramids in Egypt, even though, but no, it's pyramids here in Ohio, and it's pyramids all over the so-called United States. But I just talk about the ones in Mexico. They bigger than the ones over there in so-called Egypt, right? But guess what? How you think these people built these things? Come on, you think they built this with regular slave labor? And every time you see a statue or something, they talking about they didn't carved it into they didn't carve it, all that. It don't make sense. But we're not using our common sense. If we believe that these people carved these things into buildings and made this different stuff, man, those things, those statues and those engravings on the side of walls and stuff like that, man, a lot of that stuff was done with a machine. So what kind of technology did they so-called have 5, 6,000, 8,000, 10,000 years ago that they could make this stuff? First of all, make one, but then duplicate it multiple times. Go online and look at those. Go to Thailand or Cambodia and look at those structures. Look at the go to India. Look at just look at the intricacies of these carvings on the side of these buildings and the size of these buildings. Come on, man. And you think somebody was sitting there chiseling with a chisel and hammer? Come on, man. But they didn't dumb this down to thinking that, they dumbed us down to the point where as though they got us believing that that's reality. It's a lot. You know what I mean? It's a lot. But, the more you learn, the more you study, the more you figure out that what you think you know ain't real. And then you start calming down because and then all that fake stuff that's going on, that's like that's really it's cliche to say it, but it's a distraction. It is a distraction. But if you want to have some fun with yourself by learning some new stuff, some new info, so you can be free. Because that's the only way that you're gonna be free is if you learn something new. You know what I mean? Yeah. Yeah. They changed so much, actually overwhelming. Yeah. Yeah. They changed everything. And they changed the people too. And this is one of the reasons, if you start learning about, if you even in the mainstream history, they start telling you that how they moved people around. You know how people was moved from place to place. The Trail of Tears and all that stuff was people being moved from people was being moved from their natural not their natural they original they nations. Because even over here they tell you in the mainstream book that you have 500 different nations inside of the United States. So you had 500 different nations of people, right? But these people was moved around. You know what I mean? And you have even a lot of the island people. Let's say people that's on the island, let's say Barbados and Jamaica and Saint Croix and all these different islands. That's what they would do. They would bring people. They would bring the people from here and take them over there, and then bring the people from over there and bring them over here. It was all the same people anyway. I mean, we all the same. You know what I mean? But that's what they would do. It's in the mainstream history how they took like thousands, a few thousand people. What they were, the Yamasee Indians were fighting the war against the so-called colonizers and lost or whatever, right? The Yamasee, right? And then they took these people from the Yamasees, they took them to Barbados. So who you see over Barbados? Like what people is in Barbados that's like, you don't see like, let's say the Hollywood, like no Hollywood Indians. You know who you see over there? You see so-called black people, right? The same way. And the people that was being a problem over there and on the island, only thing you got to do is just take somebody out their natural element. It'll calm them down a little bit, right? At least it'll calm them down. It's like if you wilding out on Jamaica or whatever and they get you, they say, all right, well, look, man, get that dude, get them out of here. Like, you know what I mean? You know what they do? Okay, they take you to Maryland. They put you on a boat and somehow you in Maryland or all of a sudden they bring a bunch of y'all and now all of a sudden you in South Carolina. And then when you get to South Carolina, they write it down in the book that you came from Africa. You get it? That you came from Africa, but you ain't from no damn Africa. They brought you from Jamaica over there to South Carolina. You see what I'm saying? So and you don't. This is how it was done. Cause ain't nobody coming across the Atlantic Ocean in no wooden boat like that. Not to bring no 20 million, 15 million, 10 million people across the water. And then when you get on higher learning, you realize that it's manifestos for everything that's been transported across the sea, like everything that's been traded, and whether it was gold, silver, salt, sugar, people. All of that stuff is written down. So I don't care what you do. You can go back to 1776. You can go back to 1780, 1794, 1805. Anything that was transported across the water and was traded on and it was bought and sold, it's documented. It's on paper. They just got us thinking that it ain't on paper no more. So if somebody and they know, and okay, why they like it's a big secret. If some people that was under servitude, right, slaves, they came out of Ghana or Kenya or whatever. I'm just using these African names, even though ain't no slaves came from over there to over here. But that ain't real. Why would you go through all that when you could just put the people under servitude that lost the true, like, let's say, just to speak plainly, the real people that lost the Indian wars, they're Moors. But what I'm saying is, why wouldn't you just put them under servitude? Why would you spend all the money and time going to Africa to bring some people across the water? You know how much money that costs? You know how much you gotta pay people to be over top of these people to get them across the water. Provisions, water, all of this stuff, man, you can't do it. Go and watch a video of one of those big metal ships coming across the Atlantic and see how difficult it is. And then imagine in your mind that they was doing that with a wooden ship. It ain't true. Why would you have to go through all that? And you got plenty of people here that you could put under servitude, put on a plantation, and make them work. What you gonna go out to Africa for? Come on, man. You know what I mean? Plus, yeah, the way business was done, what we think about so-called slavery is not how business was done back in the day. You know, everybody was under servitude. The people that did them guys, them men that they got on the food stamps was under servitude, under indentured servitude. People like Benjamin Franklin and Abraham Lincoln and George Washington and these people were under servitude because you could not do or have anything unless you were under some type of contract. So if you wanted to be a carpenter, you would have to sign some type of contract to be indentured for a certain amount of time, and then under that time, you would obviously have a place to live. You know, provide. You would be working for your provisions because basically under the trade that you're studying, but you may have to sign a contract for 10 years. This is example, 10 years or whatever, and that's how you would become a carpenter. Bottom line, you will be indentured. Yeah, the way people did business then was pretty weird. People were, but imagine if you rewrite in the history the way business was being done. Even people who had children, they would put their children out to be indentured service. But they'll rewrite the history like people were selling their kids into slavery, and you'll misinterpret it because you're not in the mind of the people. Then you have to get inside the mind. You have to be in the mind of a person living in 1802 in order to understand what was going on back then. You can't, even the way the words that being used, if you read a book from back then or you read something from back then, the usage of the words is not, and the meanings of the words are not even the same as it is now. You see what I'm saying? So just in a basic sense, the way business was being done, that's why now all this information coming up that you had all these so-called black slave owners. And it sounds, and people be like, wow. And their first thought is like some type of like bad thought. Or well, not bad thought, but just because we've been programmed off roots in Hollywood about what slavery is. But not understanding that if you had a plantation that had to be ran, let's say you needed 200 individuals to keep the plantation moving and flowing and working, right? But you know, in the history books that have been rewritten, it's written down like you had 200 slaves, but really you had 200 indentured workers. Get it? Indentured servants, but then they just only got to do is just change the name of the thing. They turned it into 200 slaves when you had a business that was running and you had 200 employees. Basically, you had 200 indentured workers. Indentured servants, whatever. But they had changed the slaves, and it a boom in the people's minds and be, oh, hey, they were slave ship. So just imagine this. This is how people was doing business back then, right? This is how business was done. Okay. Do you think that there could be some business owners? I'm not gonna call them slave owners. I don't like that terminology because it's not correct. You don't think you had business owners back then that were doing bad business, or people who were misusing their indentured workers? You don't think that? You know what I mean? You got people doing it now, misusing their workers and doing all kinds of stuff, right? So what you think they was doing back then? And then you had some people. How you gonna be like? Come on. And then they'd even put people be so far away from common sense that they'll show you on TV. They'll be like, they'll show you a whole plantation full of slaves that's supposed to be held there against their own will. But there don't be no gates, no wall, or nothing. Like these people could just walk away. And they got you thinking like these people are so. And these people, you think, oh, these slaves, they don't know the land. They don't know where they at. They can't just walk away. They're going to chase them down with dogs and all that different stuff. So you don't think, okay, even if, man, you got niggas in jail. You think they're going to just stand there? No, but they were the original, that's what really sharecropping and all that stuff was under. That's why I say, yeah, people was still being held on plantations under, as slaves, up until 19 something. But if you don't really know what's going on or what went on, you yeah, indentured. They were indentured. They were under indentured servitude. You know what I mean? Yeah, yeah. They were under indentured servitude. So much different history. Even with a lot of so-called white people, mostly all of them, their grandparents came over here in the late 1800s and in the early 1900s. That's why a lot of them have ancestry that can be traced back to even the whole orphan thing, the whole orphan trains and orphan trains and all the different stuff. Because this is where they started at over here. And then history being rewritten, the information, the artwork, and all that stuff has been whited out. You know what I mean? It's a lot of stuff that I could really could say, but for anybody who watching me right now, I'm just saying, you blow people's mind. All these people that you think the government, the original government was started by melanated people. The United States is a republic. Well, not the United States. America, the American Republic, is a republic. It's not a democracy. You see what I'm saying? So this was a thing that was taken over. You know what I mean? And the end of it all, well, once it got completely taken over, was around, what they say, 1870, 1871, right? And yeah, but all this stuff was started off by melanated people, Moorish people. So just imagine if you born, you got people, all of that stuff. These people then switched the game up and got all of us in a trick bag. And I'm a recycle that word. Well, that's what it is. But the only way that somebody, I've listened to brothers and sisters that are way more articulate than me with speaking on these issues, and I way more articulate. And guess what? I had to do my own homework. I had to go and buy books. My own books. I had to go and buy